The badger's too big. 1 second. There's a badger. Almost done. There we go. There's a better sized badger. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm very good, Crow. Thanks for jumping in, mate. How are you? Doing very, very well. Excited for today's stream. I've got some cool stuff to draw. To be honest, I was thinking about doing the Sisters Merchant one, and I wasn't super keen on it, if I'm honest. So I was thinking about what to draw, and I was like, oh, you know, Nubmark did a video a while ago about just drawing some dudes. So I'm gonna draw some dudes. That's my plan for today. What have you been up to, Crow? Let me share my stream. I'll stick it in the Discord. Everyone. Hello. I think some people might have thought it was starting earlier. What about an anglerfish with a truly giant fish hanging? That's a cool idea. Well, to be honest, Crow, we have 3 things I would like to draw today. I'll show you the picture. You're the first one here. Okay, so I kind of shared these pictures of the day, but I'll explain to you. So essentially, we have 3 characters I want to draw in today's stream. I would like to do a troll hunter, seal dude, who's gonna have loads of gear on him. So he's got like he's got a long rifle, this one here. He's got a troll hunter badge. He's gonna have a pistol, which he's got his hand on like a cowboy, boot knife. He's got a bag of seaweed because he's a seal. He's got a bottle of seawater because he's a seal. He's got troll hair attached to his arm because he thinks it wards off trolls. He's religious. He's part of the Church of the Deep. So he's got a Church of the Deep hat. And he's got like a bunch of belts. And in the middle of the belts, he's got like a quick release thing. So if he has to run away from the trolls, he's gonna be able to do so. And he's got a marble foot because he's a good shot. And the Troll Hunters Guild doesn't want to lose him. Hey, Sodden. How's it going, mate? Thanks for jumping in. We're just having a look at today's dude we're drawing. Oh yeah, and this is what he looks like. I'm also gonna start drawing this. So you can see his face is very blue. He's dribbling blue here. So this is called Gum. I know, it's called Mam. The name is still a work in progress. So Mam essentially is a drug where people chew really low currency of marble, like milligrams of marble, but they stretch it out. Because once it gets to like a certain density, it's a bit like gold, where it's like kind of malleable, I think is the word. So you can kind of like squeeze it between your fingers. It's a bit like Play-Doh. So people chew it in the mouth, a bit like tobacco chew, and they smoke it or they do other stuff with it. So, but the problem is, so what it does is it kind of gives you an electric feeling that runs down your nervous system because it kind of bounces off of like it takes in the current essentially of your body, like the natural current, and it makes you a lot more sensitive. So it's very good for like heightened senses type of thing. So I'm going to say like a lot of people, a lot of poor people chew it, because it makes them feel good and they can feel a bunch of other stuff. I love drugs. Malleable is the word. Nice. And it's like common amongst troll hunters because they're so stressed. It makes them feel good, but it also heightens their senses and it's quite addictive. So kind of some of the problems with MAM is that because it's like kind of slowly burning out your nervous system because it's kind of overcharging it. It's like pumping up the currency that's going through your body, or like kind of taking advantage of the currency, the current, sorry, of your like the natural current of your body. So it kind of burns out your nervous system, and so when you don't take it, your senses become a lot more dulled. And as an addict, your senses really lower and lower and lower until like you're not very useful essentially. And then what was I say? And then also, because the people who chew it get blue teeth because it kind of produces like a blue paste in your mouth and it stains your teeth, and they have like their drool and their saliva kind of turns blue. So a lot of people who chew MAM have blue stains on their shirts and their teeth are really blue. It's a really common one. So yeah, it's kind of a gum. Like this is my attempt at drawing a hand. It's kind of a gum that they make into like a taffy. Addiction. Hey Trev, thanks for joining us. As someone who loves, I can't really see the chat. My chat. Why is that my chat not coming up? 1 second. I'm gonna try and fix my YouTube chat. It's not working. 1 second. Chat. There we go. Okay, I can see it now. That's good. So get rid of that one. Maybe this word. Or like gallium. What's gallium? Also, Seal is quite prepared to take down the beast of the forest. Yeah, he's a pretty hardcore veteran. So like troll hunters don't get their badge until they've survived like a certain number of troll hunts, and then they're like kind of official troll hunters. And it's important because they can go into towns and kind of request supplies. So if you have a badge, because people just pay for you to have stuff, and you kind of have to do it if they're a troll hunter, because otherwise they'll go and tell the guild, and then the guild will be annoyed at you. So they take advantage of it a lot, but they yeah. So he's a pretty hardcore troll hunter, which is why he also has a marble foot, which they've paid for, which means he's a good shot. Just what I've been waiting for. Yeah, getting addicted to this drug sucks. Yeah. I think it's an important thing with like world building drugs, right? It's like it's got to have a big plus, a reason why people get on it. It's got to have a big downside, which is a reason why it's like a negative thing, and then it needs to have some kind of reason for people to come back. So I feel like if like the heightened senses, the loss of senses, and then the requirement to kind of just boost it every now and again by chewing MAM, and also the fact that it's very useful if you're out traveling in the forest, because again you can kind of hear more and see more, and you're more reactive in a sense. These drugs, how expensive are they in this setting? So this is what I need to figure out, because essentially, if you want marble to be like malleable, it needs to be a really low density, so you can kind of move it a bit like gold. But if it's a really high density, it's quite solid. which is why it's not very good for swords, because you don't want a sword to be heavy, so you can't have, like kilograms and kilograms of marble in a sword. But at the same time, you don't want there to be not enough marble in there, because the sword will just bend, or it'll just break the first time you hit it. So what I was thinking is maybe there's a specific way to stretch out. I need to figure it out. Maybe we can let's talk about it whilst we go through some of these things. So that's the first character, this seal troll hunter. The second one is going to be this rabbit, because I've already started on him a little bit. I think he's a bit too tall at the moment. I might squash him a bit because he's a bit too lanky for a rabbit. But essentially, he is. I was trying to think of like some different characters to do. So he's a town guard, because we haven't really seen much of them yet. He worships the dragon of labor, and he just does like a very remedial job. And the whole purpose of the dragon of labor really is like factory workers and miners and people who do really monotonous jobs worship him, because a lot of them believe that in this life you kind of serve and you do labor and you do hard work, and then in the next life you're kind of upgraded, a bit like Indian caste system. They are reborn as someone who has a more interesting life. So it's a very depressing dragon, and it's obviously abused by a lot of rich people to force people to do labor. But yeah, so he's got these beads. They're not going to be green. That was just to help me color them in. But so the beads are basically like for the dragon of labor, because people kind of if people are feeling a bit bored or uncomfortable in their job, they kind of like a bit like rosary beads. They move them through their hands, and it helps them to kind of remember why they're working so hard. Milligram of marble. Yeah, exactly right. Gallium is the only metal on the periodic table that you can chew. It is also believed it starts to melt at room temperature or something. Oh, really? How do you spell this drug? So the name is very much in the works, but essentially it's going to be. Oops. The idea is for it to be like ma'am, like that, for two reasons. First of all, it is marble gum, the M from gum and the MA from marble. So that's an idea. And ma'am is kind of the sound that people make when they're eating it. Nom, nom, nom. So like you can hear people like chewing it because they're kind of a bit wired, a bit like electric. So they're kind of energetically chewing it. So they make that mamming sound. So people call it ma'am. I think the official name will be like just marble gum, or like marble chew or something. But the street name is just ma'am. Also with this rabbit, one of the main reasons actually I had this idea, because I wanted to do a bit of proper world building, is I was thinking, okay, if you had a soldier rabbit, what do you do with the ears? Like if he was to wear a helmet, what do you do, right? So I was thinking of some helmet designs, and I came up with these 4 designs. Let me read through these before we do it. Lazy crow, I'll be back walking my dogs. All right, see you in a bit, mate. Have a good walk. Hey, Fallen. How's it going? Crashes on the ground in a ball of flames. Very cool entrance. Maybe it's a British giant. Would explain its size. Oh, I love giant rabbits. They're very cute. Shocked. Ma'am, like how ma'am has electricity. I'm so funny. Context. Drugs. So requires context on what you guys are talking about. So today we're going to go through a few things. We're going to be drawing a couple of characters. What we were just talking about before you jumped in is a new street drug, essentially, that I'm going to be talking about, called MAM. And essentially it's marble that at a really low density, so it becomes like very like Play-Doh-y, like very malleable and a bit like clay. So you chew it in your mouth, and essentially heightens your senses. It basically makes the current, like the natural current that everyone has running through their nervous system a bit more efficient. So you feel everything a lot more. You hear better and you see better and you smell better, and you're more reactive. So a lot of people chew it, especially when they go into the woods, because then they can kind of react to monsters and stuff better. However, the downside of this drug is, I see, injects 18 different kinds of anabolics into Sidon system. No, sorry. And then they, so the downside is, like, the plus is your senses are much more heightened, but the downside is over time, when you're not on the drug, your senses are a bit burnt out. And over time, this becomes worse and worse, where you just start to feel less, and your hearing kind of degrades, and your sight and your smell gets worse. But every time you take the drug, it's kind of put back up to a normal level. And it's that typical drug thing of the first time it's amazing, and as you continue to take it, it gets worse and worse, and you need to take more and more. And then the other kind of very visual downside of it is when you chew it, which is what typically people do, is it creates a kind of, it turns your saliva blue, because I've kind of associated that kind of bright blue color with marble. And so people who chew it have stained blue teeth, and they produce a lot of like blue drool, and that, so if you see people with like stained shirts, like blue, you know they use MAM. And if they give you a big smile and their teeth are all blue, then they've been using MAM as well. So it takes a while for your teeth to stain, so you have to be like a real addict. So we're going to come back to that in a minute. Back to rabbits. So I was playing some video games with a couple of friends, and I was just saying to them how I wanted to design like a rabbit helmet. So my ideas were kind of this big pot helmet, right? An empty layer. What's that? Nothing. Okay. So my first idea was this big pot helmet. I thought this would be like a cool one, because the rabbit ears would just fit inside, and it kind of looks very like period correct. So I started to think of more ridiculous ones. So this one is a similar sort of helmet, but it's a bit shorter, and it has little cages for the ear. Because if you think about it, like if you were fighting a rabbit soldier, you could just chop at the ears, because even if you don't really hurt him, even if you don't really kill him, it would obviously really hurt and probably stun him or her if you managed to do some damage to the ears. So they would need to protect their ears. So I thought these little cages would be good, because you wouldn't stab at an ear, right? You would swing at it. So the cages would kind of do that job. The problem, of course, is you've got big holes in your helmet. So if it rains, then you're just going to get soaked. Which I guess is not really a big problem. Maybe they have hoods or whatever. And it looks absolutely ridiculous, but, you know, it's an idea. So I think this one's my favorite one. So essentially, it's just the helmet with the essentially two backward ears, and from the other side, the helmet looks a bit like this, or the ear shape looks like this. So the ear is inside here. So the other one would go like that. So this is the back of the helmet. So the ear is kind of inside here. So it's kind of poking through. So the bottom side is open. And what I was thinking is, just so someone couldn't get like a sneaky dagger in there or like a hammer, you could kind of put bars on it or something, or maybe not. I think, you know, if someone's going to swing at your head, if they can get access to that, then yeah, I mean, they probably get you anyway. So I think that's my favorite design, because it looks quite cool as well. And it's again, it's kind of I mean, this helmet is like a very quick drawing, but the helmet shape is a bit more appropriate to the saying. And then my friend thought of a cool idea. So like the standard like lobster pot helmet, but you would use like these kind of aesthetic goat's horns type thing. And they could be actual horns to put the ears inside, or the armor could just be designed to have like horn shapes. So the ears would fit inside of them, kind of a bit squashed, but they would look cool. So I like the bottom two. And in fact, wouldn't the helmet impair hearing significantly? So that was my first question as well. I was thinking like something like this, where the ears are completely inside, would be a bit of a problem, right? However, if you were to consider the fact that normal like 17th century helmets would have like ear covers, or the ears would be inside the helmet. So for a human, it would be the same problem, right? Your ears would be kind of covered up anyway, because that's obviously an important part of your head. So the rabbit's ears would be more covered up, but not much more than a human's helmet anyway. So it wouldn't be that much of a difference. So I mean, yeah, like this second one was kind of like to support that idea. It's like they'd still be able to hear, but they would, their ears would also be protected. But I think that's not such a problem. If humans don't worry about that, then probably rabbits don't worry about it too much as well. Can it be reused and recharged? The MAM? Well, I would say MAM, I would say would probably get used up over time. It's like you kind of digest it. It breaks down if it's like such a small density. So your kind of natural saliva is kind of breaking it up a bit. And so, yeah, it wouldn't so much get used up over time. It would just, no, sorry, it would get used up over time. You'd have to replace it. And probably like a really small density, like if you had like a milligram of marble, you could probably only chew that a little bit before it would disappear. Whereas if you had like, you know, half a gram or something, then you'd be able to chew that for much longer. And bearing in mind that bread costs 1 gram, so it's not a lot at all. And we could even say maybe that's a good way to make it more expensive, is like half a, like maybe like 10 grams or something is still, you can still do stuff with it and you can still chew it if you really work it in your mouth, but it has a much stronger effect because it's such a higher density. But yeah, we'll figure that out. Means you can run into people like sheep, yeah. Do like a proper charge. Yeah, exactly. Maybe small hearing holes. That's a good idea. Like tiny pinpricks. I like that. Well, that's one thing as well, is I need to think about the structural integrity of the helmet. Because if there's little holes in it, then it won't be so strong. But then again, I guess if it's like a leather reinforced helmet, then that wouldn't be such a problem. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, like maybe pinpricks. We'll come back to that. It's like eating pennies. Well, it's funny you say that. So one of the ideas I was trying to think about, I want to do a video eventually on expressions and things like that, because obviously I'm an English teacher. What is that? Get out of here. So one of the things I was thinking is people would store it as coins. They would just get it pressed into a small coin, and so you could carry it around with you and just kind of suck on it. And people would like maybe, you know, bite it or just take chunks out of it. And so you'd have these like little MAM coins in your pocket, and so they'd be like really small densities. And so you'd get some expressions from these. Like if someone's really wired up or like overexcited, you could say an expression like, he chews coins, or he has, what was I writing there? He has a coin. I can't remember what I was writing there. I was writing something there. But yeah, so he chews coins would be a standard expression for someone who's like overexcited, essentially. Like a drug Pez dispenser. Yeah, that's a great reference. I'm not surprised. Yeah. So I think it has a good balance of like positives and negatives for the time being. So anyway, like I said, we're going to work on our seal boy to start, and we'll see how far we get. So I really want this to be like a very detailed image, if possible. Let's find a picture of a seal first. Must be like maybe like a grey seal or something. Grey seal. I was meant to be trying to find a way to do to share my references as well. I still haven't got around to that. Okay, that's a good angle. So I'm going to be posting this stuff on PureRef and then having a look through it. Coin under his tongue. That's a nice expression. I'll write that That could be good. Like again, if someone's like overexcited or something, it could be like a question, right? Like, oh, you got a coin under your tongue or something. You got a coin under your tongue. Because like maybe the standard way of people using MAM is with coins, and then you can kind of associate a lot with coins. Talking about eating pennies. Don't eat pennies. Do not. Got to hold on to them for when they become worth a lot of money. Yeah. Oh. Put under your tongue. Okay, right. So, get my pure ref out. Let me try and share my pure ref screen again. No, it still doesn't work. I wonder why it doesn't work. Quickly check. Can share pure ref window. OBS. Let me try something. We'll see if it works. Right click. Mode. And check transparent. No, it doesn't seem to be working. Display capture. Sorry. I'll quickly try and figure this out and see if it works, and if not, it's not a problem. We can just do something else instead. Oh, okay. Now, I think PureF is broken. Right, okay. Right, I've broken PureF now. Never mind. Okay, that's fine. Oops. Everything's broken. Okay, right, let's just crack on with the drawing. Look, grey seal. I got a few somewhere. Nice. I do have a question. Do Fae man hybrids exist? No, thank you, Sonia. Yeah. So, kind of like what I was saying about like politics and stuff earlier. To be honest, I don't want to. I think the whole purpose of this world building project is to draw just some like cool stuff I want to draw. And I feel like if I start going into mixing species type thing, so humans and Fae, it will kind of detract from the main visual aspects of the story, if that makes sense. So, for example, I want it to be a lot about like real British animals who exist in England right now, and like they're like a story about them essentially. And if I started doing like hybrids where it was like a fox hedgehog thing, then it's like, okay, that's like fantasy. That's like Avatar type, crossover type things. So it's gonna be no, rabbits will have rabbit wives, humans will have human husbands. It'll be very boring and very very plain. I'm gonna walk the dog. I'll be watching for my phone. Any other account? Okay, Fallen. Enjoy your dog. Everyone's walking their dog. I just walked my dog before, actually. Hope you have a good walk, mate. But yeah, you know, I think I have a few ideas about the project and like how I want it to kind of read. And yeah, one of them is not. I think especially with the way that the furry community is perceived, and how dangerously close the acceleration is to being a furry project. I think it's something I want to avoid as well, just to remove the accusations before they even start. Right, how is he going to hold this? Not like that. Give him like a... like a gun holster. We need to make him look a bit more hunched over, because I want him to look a bit paranoid, because he's like a scarred veteran, so we need to kind of give off veteran vibes. Yeah, it's gonna be like a very. This one's gonna be like a marble foot. So I want to start introducing a bit more like drawing a bit more of the like marble prosthetics and stuff like that. I feel like I've not really taken advantage of that enough, because I want that to be a big aspect of when I do eventually make the book. I want that to be a big aspect of the what do I call it? Of the potential, like if I was to do an RPG, I wanted that to be a big aspect of it, essentially. We'll see. That will lead to extremely high or low populations, as you know, all these different species eating stuff. Then again, you know, out of the many problems in the acceleration, food is not an issue. Water, on the other hand. So I would say water is quite plentiful. You know, fresh water. In the UK, we have a lot of springs and, you know, like natural springs and things like that. So, you know, there's no greedy water corporations or anything in the acceleration. So it's available in towns. You know, it's the water sources are not polluted or anything like that. It's quite utopian. Utopian except for all the monsters, of course. But yeah, in terms of like animals, and like how fast things breed, I was gonna say perhaps people like the gestation period for like humans and animals is much faster, perhaps. So again, that's kind of accelerated. So perhaps people give birth after like 6 or 7 months, and animals have smaller litters anyway. So like a rabbit wouldn't have like 12 baby rabbits. I don't know what baby rabbit's called. But they would still have like 5, for example. So you do get a lot of these like prey animals, and they exist a lot in the world. So you see a lot of rabbits, you see a lot of rats and squirrels and things like that, and less foxes and badgers and stuff. But the ones that you do see are generally a lot more fragile than the bigger mammals. We'll get the rough sketch in, and then I'm going to start adding some of the details, like his little troll hair bandolier on his arm. his hat. He needs a little satchel of seaweed as well, very important. And then he's going to have his sword. Of course. Like a very simple sword. I like rabbits you would see way more of because of how many they produce, while other creatures you would see less of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so rabbits would be much more common. To be honest, I like drawing rabbits, so I don't mind that too much. I think a lot of my older images, there's just loads of rabbits and stuff. So that's quite like a common thing. Birds too, like birds are not too uncommon. Actually, no, that's not true. I'd say there's not so many birds, but yeah, definitely like those animals that kind of reproduce in real life in large numbers. It's the same in the acceleration. I'm not liking this arm. Stick it out a bit more. How would you hold that? Needs to be a bit straighter, perhaps. There you go. It's a bit more of a cowboy pose. Fae racism. Yeah, there's always Fae racism. Hey, Alex. Thanks for jumping in, mate. Is that Joe? Welcome back, Crow. Good to have you back. Would this lead to rabbits being poorer or more wealthy? Because 5 kids would be a lot of kids to take care of at once. That's a good question. I think that's a good thing to consider as well. It's like, you know, there's a lot of things like, yeah, there'll be more rabbits, and rabbits would probably be used for a lot of like labor jobs, whereas something like a badger, which would be naturally a lot stronger, or like a fox, which are generally more cunning and intelligent, these would both be more valuable workers. So people would be much more likely to hire a fox or a badger, or even a hare above a rabbit. So rabbits perhaps could even be discriminated against because they're just considered as common and not very useful. So yeah, that's a good question. So he's got his little seaweed pack. He's got his sword. He's got his pistol. What else does he have? He's got his bottle of seawater, which we'll attach here. So I'm gonna get it all on the paper, and then we'll get it drawn out in more detail afterwards. After my interview with Alba, we talked about a particular artist, and I really like their stuff. I hadn't seen their stuff in a while, and Alba brought him up as like one of her favorite artists or concept artists. So I'm gonna try and do some stuff similar to that guy's, because he does a lot of like really interesting character sketches with a lot of details in them, and I would like to be able to do the same. So we're gonna try that out today. Right, he's got this bottle of seawater. He's got his troll hair. Little troll hair bandolier on his arm. And bipod. He's got a boot on this foot, and in that boot he's got a boot knife. Saggy pants, of course, very important. This foot's a bit weird. Let's try that foot again. That's a better foot. Again, it's gonna be like a barefoot, but just because it's a marble foot. What else has he got? He's got his pistol, boot knife. He's got his mam, so he needs to store his mam somewhere. He's gonna have a little satchel on his belt. You'll have another one here. Right, I think he's looking pretty cool. Not sure his gun though. Have you heard of critter conflicts? No. Critter conflicts. Sorry, I think I just tapped the microphone there. Critter conflicts. What is critter conflicts? It's like a board game? Let's get a video on the Squirrel Gang Wars. I think we will get to that eventually. There's like a bunch of gang wars I want to do, like the Hive Wars is a big one. There's a few others I thought of, but I can't remember now. Six or seven. Nah, Riffy. Why? Why did you come into the chat shouting 6-7? That's unacceptable. Hello, Riffy. How are you doing? I curse you for saying those numbers. I agree. I double curse. You know, Joe Biden is Joe Biden. Is this an alternate account? Is it Alex or Joe? Is it actually Joe? I'm not sure. If not, then welcome to the stream, Alex. And if it is Joe, hello, Joe. Welcome to the stream. Right, I need a musket, a flintlock long rifle. That's a very long rifle. Okay, I'm looking at a Kentucky rifle, which is very cool. Oops. So I'm just currently trying to get a reference for my rifle. That'll do. I'm not Joe, I'm just Sidon. No last name, no first name, no middle name, just Sidon. Alex is a new dude. Well, thanks for joining us, Alex. I appreciate you being here. Do you world build as well, Alex? Got any projects you're working on? And anyone else for that matter? Anyone been working on anything cool this week? You know, I was tempted to... I've been doing a bit more 3D recently. And I was tempted to try and design a maglock rifle. You know, the rifles that they use in the acceleration. In Blender. So that I could try and justify myself buying a 3D printer. I already have a resin printer. But I would very much like a is it FDM, MDF, FDM I think, FDM printer. Just because it would be very cool. So I was thinking of trying to build one of these rifles in Blender. and then maybe using a bit of like PVC pipe, but also then designing the rest of it in and printing that off. Could be cool. How was that? A weird angle. That's better. There we go. Looks more rifle-y. Draw his hat on a separate layer as well. I love these. I really love these Church of the Deep hats. They're very silly. I think it's probably the silliest thing I've drawn for this setting, but for some reason I just really like them. Right, let's get this guy coloured in, and then we'll start working on the details. Alter the stream event notification. Oh gosh, yeah. I was supposed to do that last week, but you can't alter it whilst you're live. So I'll have to do it after the stream is finished. So if someone could remind me to alter it, that'd be much appreciated. Doing well, thank you, Bard. Finishing colour sketches, sketch for commission. It's been already a month. I procrastinated on this one. Nice. What are you doing for your commission, Ruffy? I've been reworking all of my stuff. Nice. What's the new stuff looking like? Have you got like an overview of your new stuff, or is it kind of just you've got like a few ideas of where you want to go with it? I don't think I've ever drawn one of these rifles properly. I always draw them in like different ways, but I think that's the beauty of a kind of flintlock-esque rifle. So if we don't talk much, making dinner. No worries. Send us your dinner afterwards, Fallen. It is an obligation. You must. Very silly hat. A lot of things, I suppose, I've been working on. Well, hey Blank. Thanks for dropping in. Good to have you here, mate. Quite Conflict is like the acceleration, but everyone is shooting each other and are small. It is a board game. Oh, that sounds cool. The hats should have been like those squid hats with the tentacles. Well, the whole purpose in the Church of the Deep hats was they were supposed to just like vaguely represent like sea creatures. So it's like, you know, is it a crab claw? Is it a fish mouth? Is it like a squid's head? Is it a, you know, is it like the rock coming out of the ocean or something? It's like, it's not anything clear. And so all the different sects wear them, but then they all just argue about what it represents. It's like, oh, it's the great crab. It's like, no, it's not. It's like the only two remaining tentacles on the tentacle dragon or whatever. So then people all worship at the same church, but in different ways. That would be a cool way of doing it. Learned a bit about game engines recently. Got a sudden motivation to educate myself in creating a simple game for start. Don't know why though, just because. I think every world builder gets the itch to design a game at some point, right? It's like if you're doing like a lot of concept art, might as well do the concept art for something specific. Oops. So yeah, we'll start to do some details on this. In fact, if we just... This never goes well, but we'll give it a go. I always do this and then... in fact, we'll separate them. Just in case. I always do this and then end up doing scribbles again anyway, but let's give it a little bit of a go. So we'll start with his face. So again, he's addicted to mam, so he needs to have a nice big blue mouth. Try maps. Everything was so bad, I'm redoing all of it. Nice. For a commission, it's a godlike three-eyed creature again for the same customer. Nice. I love grey seals. I once, when I used to do, I think I told you guys this before. I used to go spearfishing. So I'd go out and just catch fish with my friends. We just eat it on the beach. And one time I was in the water, and the visibility wasn't very good under the water. So it probably was a bit of a stupid thing to be going out and doing that in like bad conditions. But you know, we had loads of equipment and we absolutely loved spearfishing, so we just go out whenever we had the opportunity. And it wasn't like wavy or anything; it was very flat. But so we went out anyway, and I was swimming along, and I look down in the water, and it wasn't very deep. It was probably like a couple of meters or something, and there was just like an absolutely terrifying human face in the water. So I was like kind of snorkeling along the top. I wasn't under the water, so I kind of came straight back up, and I started panicking, and I was like swimming desperately back to shore. And as I was swimming along, I hear a sound like something emitting like a bunch of air from its nostrils. And it was a grey seal. So if you've never seen a grey seal before, I would say have a look. They are these really big, very long seals that live in the UK. And where I was, there was like a big old grey seal who lived and kind of protected this region. He was like territorial, but he wasn't like aggressive or anything. He was just curious to see me swimming around in his territory. So he swam up right next to me, and it was so scary. So I swam back to shore and I refused. I took all my gear off and I got back in. I told my buddy to come in. I was like, but he was a very scary dude. A lot of people used to go snorkeling out, used to go scuba diving out at that point, and he was never aggressive with people, which is good. He was just like a good old boy, but still, it was like very scary. It was like honestly, seals, when you look at a seal, they don't look like humans at all. But when you can only see their like eyes under the water, like just staring up at you, oh, it was just the most terrifying moment for like all of 1 second. Good lord. Very scary. Is it a Wales Willy? I don't get that itch to make a game. One day, blank, you may. I think one of the cool things with like game design is you can just kind of download something like Unity or Unreal and just start plugging away. And I've used Unreal quite a lot for like loads of different little projects, and I've never seen the light of day. I've never done anything with the projects, but it's so user friendly that I just think it's it's like a very accessible thing to get into. If you ever want to get into game design, you can just kind of hop on Unreal and just get started, which is cool. Right, I'm starting to get messy again here. I don't mind it being a little bit messy, but it needs to be clear enough so that when I draw the like more detailed stuff, that it reads kind of well. Let's do this curve. So I'm gonna have like a wax seal on the top, and it's gonna be a little jar in there. Friends, oh no, a storm, bard. Anyway, let's go spearfishing. Pretty much. We did that a few times, and it was like very stupid. I think we did one where it was like actually big waves, and whenever there's, I don't know if any of you have been scuba diving, but whenever there's waves, there's just you can't see under the water because of course it like brings up all the sand and all the silt, and so it's just impossible to see. So it's like it's absolutely pointless. And when you bring all of your gear, because you have to carry like a lot of weights to help you get under the water, and all your spearfishing equipment, and like things to help you prepare the fish afterwards, and your wetsuit as well is like very heavy, and oh gosh, it was like so much effort for zero reward. But I think we just wanted to go in the water. This one going stretched across his body. Those little magazine things here. Mermaid, yeah, that's what it felt like. It was just like just seeing like the eyes staring up at you. It was awful. Because grey seals are really big. They're not the biggest seal in the world, but they're, maybe like 2 meters or bigger, maybe 3 meters even. So if they wanted to, they could do a lot of damage. But they just, they're not that bothered. It's like, oh, hey, dude. And I was like, ah! Why are you screaming, friend? Search Neil the Seal from Australia. Neil the Seal. Oh, look at those nostrils. Oh, I was gonna say it looks a bit like an elephant seal. Oh, cutie. Oh gosh, he's huge! 600 kilograms. That's amazing. So sailors thought, yeah, exactly. Right, triggerfish, nice. Triggerfish are cool. They got big sharp teeth though. Yeah, he's in a triggerfish, human-like teeth. Correct way one. That's cool. Yeah, it's like they've got like dentures with their teeth poking out the front. Because I think they eat coral, right? So it's like their big buck teeth sticking out. Oh, I hate drawing this slow. This is how I'm supposed to draw, but I don't want to. Do puffier arms. Do you know he's gonna have long sleeves? Right, I'm starting to feel the need to just get messy. Right, we'll work backwards. We'll get messy first, and then we'll clean it up afterwards. That's a better way to do it. It's gonna have, yeah, essentially it's like a little bandolier filled with troll hairs from the various trolls he's fought over the years. See, I think the problem here is I've done his face too detailed, and now I don't like it. It's too smooth. Give him more lumps. Maybe even like that's better. It's immediately better, I feel. I'm deeply uncomfortable in the sea, like a primal irrational fear, so it took me a bit to swim to a shallow water reef. Yeah, I think that's quite irrational. I think the sea is quite a rational fear, like being scared of the ocean, because it's like it's quite logical, right? There's a lot in there that could hurt you, and just the sea itself you can drown in, and it's like unpredictable, and you know, I think there's so many reasons to be afraid of the sea. So I feel like it's a very rational fear. There's a better way to draw a circle than that. Just draw a normal circle. It's a bit too big there. I'm liking this old seal. It looks very grumpy. Made 3 dragon subspecies based on triggerfish and kind of parrotfish. That's cool. Turns out I'm allergic to cats. Learned that the hard way when I was in San Francisco and spent 4 days with a cat. Did not stop me from paying them. Will never stop me. I've heard with like a cat allergy. Am I speaking? I've heard with allergies for things like cats and horses, you can kind of like expose yourself to enough to it to, I don't know if you would say get over it, but to like push past it. I know a few people who are allergic to animals, and they just kind of force themselves to spend more time around that animal, and yeah, ended up just being fine afterwards, not having any problems with them. So maybe it works. This guy carries a lot of magazines on him. So the idea is all of his stuff is attached to the same kind of belt buckle, so that if a troll does come, he can kind of just break the buckle, or like open the buckle, and everything will just fall off him, and he can run away. Maybe not when a troll comes, but if him and his boys are being kind of messed up by a troll, then he can he has some space to move out of there at least. Nice, that kind of looks gun-like, right? Not interested in games nearly at all, Bard, so I probably never get into game development. Oh, fair enough. Neil isn't fully grown. Oh, jeez. A full-grown elephant seal reaches 2 tons. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Sorry, getting distracted. That's cool. You went diving in Egypt. Blank. It was diving, or it was like snorkeling you were doing? I used to scuba dive a lot, but I've not had opportunity in many years. And honestly, I think if I was to go back to it now, I would need to probably learn how to do it again. I've forgotten so much. That's not a bad foot. I'm liking this guy. Looks very cool. He doesn't look very seal-like, but I'll just tell people he's a seal. That's an easier way to do it. Winter! Hey, mate. Thanks for jumping in. Good to have you here. We are drawing a seal troll hunter. And we're gonna... we were talking a little bit about a new drug that we were designing for the project. Because every world building project needs a narcotic, for sure. Very important for world building. But this guy is kind of like an old, gnarly troll hunter. One thing I wanted to do with some of these illustrations is kind of show off some of the paranoia that a lot of these people have. So this guy carries a lot of like sea-related trinkets with him because it makes him feel like he's keeping himself safe. In fact, he does need to have a little thing for it, a little hat strap. How are you doing anyway, Winter? Good to have you in, mate. It looks a bit like one of those... Is it a Mountie, Sidon? Is that what you call them? Looks a bit like a Mountie. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Looks Mounty-esque. Yeah, so the video I was going to do based off of this one. No, the video this one will be based off of. I don't know if you guys have seen Nubmark's. Let me have a look. Nubmark's video is called. Where's it gone? Where's Nubmark? There he is. He did a video called he's done a few of these actually. 3 Nights, Emnic Class System, Emnic Commoners, Designing More Morn Soldiers, Designed Morn Soldiers. So he's done like a few of these, and they're really cool. And I think they add a lot to the project because it like he adds a lot of like snippets of lore within the design of the characters, as well as kind of also obviously just talking about it whilst he's drawing. But it's what I would like to add to mine as well. It's like not to do like crazy details every single video, but to do some videos that also have details in them, if that makes sense. That could be like a cool thing. Swimming in shallow waters. Oh, okay, that's cool though. I think in the Red Sea you get a lot of like cool animals, even like quite shallow. Drug, yeah, you weren't here at the start. We were talking a bit about this. We've got a few people in actually, so maybe we'll quickly do a recap of the drug. Okay. So sorry, Crow, because I know you've heard this a couple of times, and Try, you've heard this a couple of times as well, and Sidon. So we'll just go through it one more time. So this drug that is present in the acceleration is called MAM. M-A-M. And essentially, it is a drug which is essentially when people chew really low density marble, so like 1 milligram or something like that. So it's like really, really malleable. It's like really doughy and soft. They normally do it as coins, so you kind of just like chew coins in your mouth, and essentially it makes you feel like very electric. It makes you essentially your natural current in your body is kind of amplified, and so all of your nervous system becomes stronger. So you're able to smell more and feel more, and you can see better, and you react a bit faster. So a lot of people chew it when they go into the forest because it helps to keep them a bit safer because they can react to the world a bit more. So it's a drug, obviously. So the downside is the more you use it, the less your nervous system works as well after using the drug. So it's like slowly your nervous system is affected and it kind of burns out a little bit. And also like the standard drug thing of every time you take MAM, the kind of high that you get is not as strong as the first time, and it kind of decreases over time. So people chase like higher densities of MAM to eat. So marble is quite malleable up until, maybe even like a kilogram. About a kilogram of density it becomes, and it depends on the thickness of the thing you're chewing, but about a kilogram it's a bit too solid to chew, but less than that you can kind of chew it. And the higher the density in a smaller object, the stronger it is. So one of the other downsides is when you're chewing it turns your saliva blue. And so people who use it for too long have like blue teeth. So this is going to be our little seal dude. This is the one we drew before. This is him kind of chewing it. And so his teeth are stained blue because he eats it so much, because he chews it so much. And also you can kind of tell if people have been using MAM too much because they dribble all over themselves and they have blue stains on their shirts and stuff like that. Cool. So yeah, it's kind of presented as a bit of like a gum that people carry around, or they carry around these little coins they chew. Cool. So our little seal friend here is a MAM user. But yeah, I think it's I was trying to think of something like interesting that's like a small detail, and I thought that was quite a good one. I quite like doing the currency video because it was like quick, it was like relatively easy to do, but one of the main things is it was just like I was going to use this gun. Yeah, it was quick, it was easy to do, and it was fun. So I want to do more stuff like that, where it's just fun. I'll do a couple of notches on here. If he's counting something. And we need to paint that background as well of his sword. And maybe we'll put a bit of colour in him. So let's see what he looks like. Ah yes, marble drogs. Yes to the fire wardens for Sidon. And Riffy as well. Fire wardens are chill. Fire wardens are chill. Kind of. But the job is not so chill. Faux show. Job kind of sucks. We call them RCMP. Was it something Mountain Patrol? Rockies, Canada, Mountain Patrol, maybe? Haven't heard Mountie quite a bit. Yeah, I think we only see them in films, really, in the UK, so the only term I've ever heard to use to describe them is Mountie. Right, let's give this guy a bit of colour. See what it looks like. So I'll do his basic colours. Like an old grey seal. So he's going to be grey, funnily enough. But he's a member of the Church of the Deep, so he's going to be wearing a lot of purple. In fact, if we just do him totally purple. At least we can kind of see where some of these gaps are. I don't want to do like a specific design for the hats for the Church of the Deep. I want to keep it kind of loosey-goosey, so it's like, it's almost like every hat is custom made. So every time you're going to see one of these hats, it's going to be different. Which I think will be a cool little touch. There we go. Alright. That's kind of like a base. Do him like a lighter blue colour for his face. And then the blue from his like mouth will kind of stand out a bit more. Nice guy, looking pretty gnarly. Royal. Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Oh, I was close. Mounted Police, not Mounted Patrol. I think I, like, right back in the day, I explained a little bit about how these magazines work for the flintlock rifles, but I can't remember if I need to find the diagram, because I had a diagram ages ago in one of my sketchbooks about how to use one, but it's lost to time. Like that? That's fine. Like I read before. Just like that. This silver as well. We'll colour that after. Silver barrel. Anything else silver? This buckle. And then we'll do some browns. Just do these belts on a single colour thing. So I imagine they'd all be made with the same stuff. Well, we'll do this one a little bit different, because this one's attached to his satchel. Do this one a bit of a different colour as well, to make it stand out a bit more. This one's going to be the same. And we'll do this one a bit more of a red colour. Darker brown, or like a more saturated brown in the holster. We'll do these as kind of like a dark reddish wood. Both of these. We'll do them on a different layer as well. It's looking pretty cool. Right, next we're going to do... What are we going to do next? First of all, let's go to this little line. Oops. See the leathers on this troll hair as well. And then we'll colour in like all the little detail bits. All I need to do is boot. Nice dark coloured boot. his trousers. Oops. It's coming together slowly. It looks a little bit like a witch, but that's fine. What happened to the British monarchy in the acceleration? Well, I would say a lot of the Byzantine Empire essentially just took over everything. So, but nobody really knows what actually happens to everyone. But they were essentially like the ruling peoples. So yes, they were a bit problematic, but were probably dealt with quite swiftly because the Byzantine Empire were pretty hardcore. Nobody knows more than that. Oh, has that changed colour? Just make this more of a yellow so it stands out a bit more. Oops. Same colour on this one. Give him a grey foot as well. It's getting there. A lot of colours, but we'll bring it back together eventually. He does look like a witch, though. That's fine. Okay, cool. I think the bases are all good there. Oops. I'm trying to get some information from the dude I was talking to Alba about. I mentioned to you guys before. What was his name? What was his name? His name was... Oh, that's going to annoy me. my history from yesterday, so I can find it. Here it is. Evan. Where is it? iPad's about to turn off there. Evan Amundsen. Yeah, so this guy's called Evan Amundsen. I'm going to share him. I'm going to talk about him a bit more in the podcast with Alba. I'll write it down here. So definitely worth checking out. Very cool artist. World-building idea. Field of golden statues. Former criminals serve their sentences. Agony immortalized on their faces, making near eternal torment. That is a very cool idea. Very cool idea. I think what would help maybe is if I did the shading. As soon as you add shading to anything, it looks cooler. Always. It's like a cheat code. I always do light from above, which is a little bit boring, but that's fine. That's fine. We just want to draw cool pictures. Light from above is sufficient. I need to colour that in actually. We'll do on this one. A little troll hunter badge. Slowly coming together. What I need to do is a little bottle of seawater as well. Okay, got the basic shading down, and then we'll figure everything out afterwards. Right, let's start messing with the colours a little bit. Oops. Few different colours on there. They still look a bit interesting. be kind of leathery hat, so it does need to be a bit brighter at the top. Got scratches in it as well. Not bad. Mine use scavengers. Sorry, I'm in that kind of focus mode where I'm very much engaged with whatever it is I'm drawing. I've locked in. A few little interesting colours. Nice and textured. Oops. In fact, I need to finish his sleeve. Finish his arm, actually. This one. This little jar. What does a jar of water look like? Very difficult to draw glass. So how about we do, we'll kind of fake it. What we'll do is we will colour it in. Then I'll do like this. Like it's refracting. Like a much brighter colour around the edge, where the water is obviously sloshing. And then there you go. That looks kind of watery, right? Do some like bubbles. It's not super clear. I think it's because of this bit at the top. You need to make this bit lighter as well. Kind of looks like water. That's fine. That's what we're going for. Kind of water is sufficient. Put a few little highlights on here. Maybe we do them over the hairs as well. No, that's fine for now. Right, let's do some of these leathers. Leather strap. I'm writing the introduction to the Mage Hunters in my setting. They're a paramilitary organization that specializes in tracking and disposing of rogue mages. Damn. Oh, Crow, you're leaving. Good having you here, mate. Appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you next time, mate. I need to show this guy's teeth because he's supposed to be chewing mam. Okay, so we'll do... give them yellow teeth first, and then make them blue. In fact, we'll need to draw the kind of like drool coming out of his mouth. That is very essential to the story. Okay. And little like droplets. It's kind of like hit the side and sprayed off. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Don't take drugs, kids. This is what you look like. So yeah, his teeth are going to be like a bluish colour. A bit darker. Let's give him white eyes actually. God, the iPad is very hot. I feel like every time I stream it gets hotter and hotter. One day it's going to spontaneously combust, I think. Oh gosh, our time is almost up. I think this guy's looking pretty cool. Right, leathers. Let's do some leathers. So leathers, I think, need to be textured. Let's find interesting texture we can use. Is that leathery enough? No. No, no, no. Let's try another one. This one. Oops. Thing is, it always looks so 2D. Right, I think we'll just have to do it ourselves. The old-fashioned way. What I'll do is I'll do a little network of little webby, leathery shapes. Oh. But like pigment. I like pigment, like skin follicles, whatever they're called. We'll test this out and see if it works, and then if not, we'll do something else. Right, and then I will. How's that look? Oh, and that wasn't what I was going for, but that kind of looks cool. That'll do. To watch the new Amazing Digital Circus chapter with a friend. I'm back later, hopefully. Well, thanks for dropping by, Fallen. Appreciate you being here. Your PC is trying to microwave you whilst you stream. No! Please. I just want to draw pictures. Like a waxed top. Kind of looks like a bundle of sticks on his arm, but that's fine. What we need to do is marble leg as well. No, how do we do it? Let's do it. That's why I always find with marble is you do a big picture like this, find an interesting composition, and then you select the layer, and then draw some. Oops. Interesting veins. Why is that so dark? Okay, it doesn't quite work. I said that with a lot of confidence and it didn't work. Have I got a better marble layer? That marble never seems to work. about if I do the opposite? I'll select this one. And then I will do black. Here. And then same again, but I'll do it with... That work? No, it does not. Okay, never mind. I'll do for now. We'll come back to that in a little bit. I best be leaving now. See you all. Thanks, Aiden. Appreciate you dropping by, mate. Have a good night or day, I guess. Golden statues unlocking a magnificent city where the dead are gathered around obsidian idols. Then said bones are used in architecture. Very cool. Cool image. Ooh, don't have any shadows on our little sword. I like this guy, he's looking kind of cool. It's a bit more detailed than I usually go. There we go. Kind of doing his pouches. To kind of draw his seaweed as well. What does seaweed look like? More like brownie, a brownie color. We'll do like green, like very green seaweed. So that'll be a bit easier to see. Do some darks underneath as well. Very darks. And then a bit of shadow on that as well, but that's fine. He's a funny little chap. Oops. Sorry, very quiet at the moment. I think we're doing quite well here, so we might almost be finished as well. just need to add some extra colours to the leathers. Again, if we do it kind of like a scratchy colour, it's like kind of like worn leather. That should do it mostly. Oops, a bit zealous. Change the hue a little bit. They're leather, so they've got to have a bit of a shine on the top. The same for this one as well. Give them some buttons. I think the purple might be a bit too purple. If I desaturate that. If I desaturate this one. I don't want it too dark. It's a bit dustier now. I think the metal needs a bit more of a scratch. Oh, low power mode. That's my iPad telling me to get off. Right, we'll get a little bit more done and then finish up there. Perfect. Let's just stick the power cable in for a minute. What time is it? Ah! It's 1:30. There we go. I've got power now. Haven't done a skin yet. Need to make him pretty as well. To shade that seaweed a bit more. A little bit more texture, and then we'll finish up. Nice. These colours need to be a little bit more similar. A bit too varied. I like the scratchy look though. I think it's looking pretty cool. Not bad at all. I think a couple more like that, like to this kind of level of detail, that'll make for an interesting video. Let's shorten that a little bit, perhaps. Looks kind of cool. More of like a sketchy outline instead. We'll do his little marks on there. Maybe this is like his crew. The crew who's died on his watch. Doesn't really care for them, but that's fine by him. Need to redo that jar again, but that's fine. Okay, I think we'll finish up there for today. I think he's looking pretty cool. What do you guys think? I think I'm gonna draw like stuff around the edge. So I'll mention his like bag of seaweed, his troll hair, his like troll hunter badge and things like that. But I'll try and do that if I can. A bit later, yeah. So, right. Thanks, guys. I think it's just us left. Try and blank. Appreciate you guys sticking around, and Riffy, of course. We've got a little seal boy and his terrible, terrible drug addiction. Poor guy. Let's just give it this. You can see the splatter in all its glory. Yeah. Right, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Looks cool, bud. Thanks. Appreciate it. I think it was a fun stream. Like I said, if I'm honest, I've been a bit bored of the Name That Character series. Just because it's a bit difficult trying to inspire myself to draw something when I haven't thought it up, if that makes sense. So I feel like this is a good way around it. I'll be drawing some similar stuff, but kind of stuff I want to draw. I think I'll come back to the Name That Character series eventually. But for the time being, I think I'm enjoying. I enjoyed this sesh. Like it was productive and managed to get quite a lot done. So maybe next week we'll do the same thing. We'll see. I don't like that. Okay, never mind. Right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you being here. That was a fun stream. I will see you guys again in the next one, next week, or in the Discord as well. So, thanks, Blank. Thanks, Try. Thanks, Riffy. Who else do we have today? Thanks, Sidon, Fallen. We had... Who else do we have? We had Lazy Crow, Alex, Winter dropped in for a little bit. Good stuff. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, we'll get on it. Gotta keep people on their toes. Exactly, yeah. Come back to it when you want it. It's not your job. Don't need to force yourself. Very good advice, Riffy. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, I think I will come back to it. I did enjoy it, and I think I'm happy with some of the images we did. But yeah, it was very forced. It was like, okay, you know, if I have to draw something in a specific setting, in a specific country, with a specific animal, it's a bit forced for me to do it. So yeah, I think I'll avoid it for now. But yeah, we'll finish up there. Thanks, chaps. All the best. Have a good day, evening, morning, night, wherever you are. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.